What's going on out there, beautiful world? My name is Miles Farrington, and I am here with my two co-hosts. Introducing
Jordan
yourselves.
Leffler.
There we go.
Adam Leonard.
I was
There
getting
we
to
go.
it, and you.
We're all out of order, but we're still here. We're here, and yeah, we're sorry we missed last week. But Mother's Day, love your mothers. They're better than us because they made you. So, in most cases, anyway. But anyway, yeah, we're here with the Mong podcast, episode 122. Mong's next top hero. We are now a modeling show, and we will be presenting Iron Man and his war negligee and Black Widow in her usual outfit in due time. I don't know. But anyway, as per usual, what's going on with the site? We're always looking for more people. So if you are looking to write, make videos, edit videos, or other things that I'm sure we could find an application for, you should put in your application for the site because you can probably join the team and help us out, and we'll help you out as we can. There you go. What else is happening, Jordan?
Um. Well, we got a few pieces of a few things that have happened since we were last live, since it's been a while. So I'm just gonna try to do a quick recap. First off, we've got Chris Cobb's editorial, which is Confessions of a Closed-Minded Gamer. It's a bunch of stuff that he has avoided. Like as someone who doesn't usually play certain games, and like it's his experience with that, which is interesting. We have Chris Cobb's flashback review of Captain America: Super Soldier. She felt that it would be a nice addition to the website, seeing as we just had Civil War release. So check that out if you're interested in that game. We have Harry Lozide's Grand Kingdom beta impressions. He played the beta for Grand Kingdom, and his thoughts are there. We've got Jesse Webster's Uncharted 4: A Thief's End review. The game just came out, and we just did a PS Plus You and Me of the multiplayer on Friday night. The highlights will be live shortly once I can get Twitch down to cooperate with me, because it's not. And finally, Charlie Savage's new editorial of his experience at Shuffle 8, which is a Smash Brothers, I believe, tournament. Just went live like minutes ago. So check that out. Other pieces of big news, we have a new member to the team. His name is Tyler Fisher. He's been writing a lot of news for us, and he's got some other ideas that are brewing. So we'll hopefully have a little bit more to show of that shortly.
Yep.
But that's
Welcome
big
to
stuff.
the team, Tyler. Yeah. So, website's popping. CD Cobb's being a very prolific one, I hear.
He is a star. Possibly Mong's next top hero.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. we'll roll with that. Anyway, yeah, so that's what's been going on with the site. As per usual, if you want to check all that out, go to middleofnowheregaming.com, because that's where our site is, and that's where you can find all the things that we do. So yeah, we appreciate your views and the traffic and all that stuff. Anyway, what else has been happening with everyone? It's been 2 weeks, so I guess we probably need to be succinct about it. But what's been going on? Adam, you're always first.
Yeah, I'll just go over like the three top highlights. One, I'm in the middle of Uncharted 4. I'm enjoying it. It's a very pretty game. It's got great action set pieces. Only thing for me, I suppose, is I'm just kind of realizing that I'm just not a shooter fan, and so I find myself enjoying the stuff where I get to jump around and run from imminent death. But then I always kind of sigh whenever it's like, oh, okay, now there's like a wave of goons I have to deal with before I can move the story forward. But really enjoyable. It's on par with any other Uncharted game I've played.
Okay.
Two, this was actually really kind of exciting, is I finally got to demo the Oculus Rift.
Nice.
They've set up a bunch of demo stations at like Best Buys across the country, and so I made it a priority to go check it out. I was really excited about it because I've been hearing for quite honestly, like, probably years now that this VR thing is for real and it's going to be huge when it comes out. And I think it's the kind of thing that you can talk about it all you want, but unless you actually try it, that's kind of tell you whether or not it's legit.
Mhm.
After trying it, I could say that it seems legit. I was actually very, very impressed. Pretty much the standout highlight moment that kind of just like made it instantly sink in like how real it was is basically I got to do a game, but before I did the game, I got to do essentially like kind of a little highlight reel of like a little like 30-second scenarios that just kind of put you in different environments to kind of show you just kind of an idea of what VR is capable of.
Mhm.
And there was one of them where it starts you out, and you're on this construction site. You're at the top of the skyscraper on like a very thin steel girder, and you can like kind of walk across this girder to the very edge and look. You're probably about 30 stories up.
Mhm.
And what really hit home, I was actually afraid to walk on that girder because even though I knew I was playing VR, my senses were still tricked and believed that I was 30 stories up in the air, and I was very uncomfortable by that.
Mhm.
And that really hammered home that that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's.
Uh,
Go ahead. You have
no,
one
you
more thing,
first.
right?
No, you go.
Okay. I was just gonna say, yeah. I believe that I used to be a non-believer who had actually tried VR but didn't like it. But having used VR more recently, when I did something with a developer, it was like, huh, this is awesome, and it's absolutely true. It's one of those things that you have to actually see it in person to believe it. And I'm happy that you had your chance to see it.
And my other big takeaway is I don't think I could play a horror movie game or horror game in VR. It just like
Mm.
instantly I was struck like no, that I couldn't do it.
Mhm.
So you're saying that if you get PlayStation VR and like basically Silent Hills comes out for it, you're not going to play it?
That's rough. That's rough. Because that would maybe make a very good Let's Play video.
I know.
Yeah.
It would take a lot because, like I said, it's like when you're there and you're immersed, you just realize how immersive it is. I can't freaking imagine what it would be like to have to play a horror game in that medium because
Sure.
it would. Um, and finally, I was just going to say that I saw Civil War twice. Civil War is awesome.
Yes. It was so
Thumbs up
good.
for Civil War. Yeah, it was. I mean, great. One of the best Marvel films. The whole hangar sequence is probably one of the best
Yeah.
movie action sequences ever. Just awesome.
Definitely, definitely. It's well, Jordan, have you seen it?
I have, yeah.
We can talk about it shortly at the end of this section. Um,
Sure.
I just wanted to also say the one thing that makes VR horror look a little bit better is it's not AR horror. So I was listening to another podcast and they were like, do you think you can handle VR horror?" And everyone's like, "Nah." And they're like, "What if it was altered reality where like they take your actual house and then put stuff in it?" It's like, "Oh, definitely not that then. Definitely not that because that's my actual house that I'm seeing something come out of the wall at me and I'm not okay with that." Uh,
Hell no.
yeah, no. But Jordan, what have you been up to in the 2 weeks we've been away? Kind of. Yeah, 2 weeks.
So, yeah, I like Adam. Am going through Uncharted 4, kind of taking my time with it. I didn't get a lot of time to play it when it first released, so I'm just starting it now. Started yesterday.
Mhm.
And I'm on like chapter 6, I think.
Okay.
Really, really enjoying it. I like how everything kind of feels organic. Like a lot of the action sequences, not all of them, but a lot of them feel like they are directed, but that my actions are directly um, related to what happens. So, like, something happens because I caused it to happen, not because the game needs it to happen in order for the plot to continue.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know. It's kind of a difficult thing to explain if you're not actually experiencing it yourself. But just kind of as an example, the very first sequence of the game, you're driving this boat. Spoilers, I guess, but it's the
There's
beginning of the game.
boats.
Yeah. Oh boy, there's a boat. And you have to like ram boats like off the like away from you. They're
Mm.
smaller ones that are coming at you, and whenever you hit them, you kind of get rebound. And then when you hit one eventually, you rebound into a bigger one, and you get thrown off the boat. But that was something that I caused to happen.
Mhm.
It wasn't something that felt like it was supposed to happen.
It feels like they basically script out their scenes, and there's a certain number. It's mostly open, but there's a certain number of check marks of things that must happen. And one of the greatest tricks that Naughty Dog has with the Uncharted series is they have this really awesome way of like kind of disguising that fact and making it feel like so open that the stuff is just happening like it would in a movie, and it's not like forcing you down like a narrow avenue.
Right. It's not this boat coming out of nowhere exactly when it's supposed to, just to hit you and knock you off. It's something that, it's like I said, it felt like I caused it. It happened organically. So that I've been playing that. That's been fun. Multiplayer, like I said, we did the PlayStation Plus You and Me episode 4 with Uncharted 4 multiplayer, and it was really cool. We had a really good time with it. Just kind of did a private match with it and just had a blast. And then I platinumed Severed. I was out of town for Mother's Day weekend and had a lot of time with my Vita and nearly broke my finger. But yeah, it's just like all the swiping. Like it's just all this all the time. But I had a really good time with it. I really enjoyed it. That is an awesome game. I highly recommend it to anybody who owns a Vita.
Yeah.
And then after that, I picked up Super Meat Boy actually for the first time ever. I don't think it's really something for me. I was having a good time with it, but it was just like there are other things that I want to play right now. So it was nice to have. It was like a PlayStation Plus game that I had gotten at one point and just decided to download it and try it, and it was cool. But it's just not something for now. I think that's just about everything that I've been playing.
Okay.
So.
Well, that sounds pretty solid. As for me, I have not beaten Sever yet because I guess me wanting to play my Vita is kind of in spurts, and it seems like it's kind of few and far between, unfortunately.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong. Anyone who's like thinking that I'm saying that Severed's not good, it's actually really good. I just am very lethargic about playing PvP, playing my Vita. But beyond that, I have actually been playing so much Diablo 3 because the season started. I don't know. It's been 2 weeks, so I'm not sure what we actually talked about last time. So, but I've been playing Diablo 3. I've been playing Destiny, of course. I'm repping my Sigil of the Guardian shirt today.
Nice.
Yeah, because I'm a geek. Hey, so that's what I've been doing. I had a moment to go into Red Storm on Friday, actually. And anyone who don't know who Red Storm is, that's an Ubisoft company. I can't tell you what I did, but I can tell you that I took the $25 instead of taking the Division for free.
Oh,
So yeah, I always feel bad when they're like, "Hey, what game do you want?" I'm like, just give me $25. That's good. That's a meal. That's more useful than any of these games. But anyway, yeah. So that's what I've been up to. Uh, being having. I'm looking to see if there's anything I'm forgetting to mention, and I'm not forgetting to mention it. But anyway, since we've all seen it, let's go ahead and talk about Civil War.
yes, indeed.
Let's go ahead and talk about that for a little bit. So, I'm assuming we all unanimously agree it was good, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a minority opinion. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really critical of most Marvel movies in general.
Okay.
And so I'll leave it at that for now. But you guys go ahead and continue talking. I'll chime in.
Well, I'm curious why.
Why?
Yeah,
because they never reach the level of depth and drama that I want them to. Like, I think I'm not necessarily in the minority when I say that the Christopher Nolan Batman movies are like the quintessential superhero movies, essentially. Maybe not everyone agrees with that opinion, but I'm saying a lot of people do. And like I feel like those have really good dialogue, really good drama and depth. They're very dark. I like dark stories in general. And the characters don't feel like comic book characters; they feel like real characters. And so that's something that I want in all of my movies, and something that I feel that Marvel's movies don't do. Marvel's movies do what they want to do very well. It's just not necessarily what I want for my movies.
Okay, I can understand that. Not necessarily agree, but I understand it.
I think a lot of the praise for the Nolan franchise series, though, lies fairly heavily on Dark Knight Rises. Not Dark Knight Rises, sorry, The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
I think because, like, as somebody who likes, not likes, I also loved the franchise. I think Batman Begins is good, probably great, but a little bit laggy storytelling wise. But
that's fair.
was so much better than anything else at the time. That it definitely was. Definitely got a lot of praise. I think The Dark Knight's one of the greatest comic book films ever made. I think The Dark Knight Rises has a really unfair reputation. I don't think it's as bad as so many people want to try to level criticism at it. I
Yep,
just think its largest crime is it followed one of the best comic book movies of all time and was never
sure.
going to meet the lofty expectations that were held after that.
Miles.
They messed up Bane, and Bane is my favorite Batman supervillain. Therefore, that is a bad movie.
Okay.
Um,
Bane is your like favorite Batman supervillain. I
yes,
kind of
yes, he
always felt
is.
like Bane Bane is such a product of like the 90s, and like the 90s for me was such a exercise in style over substance, and
Mm.
both Bane and Doomsday kind of felt like, well, we want to like paralyze slash kill our big superheroes. How are we going to do that? Let's just integrate some really big dudes. It's just going to do it.
Hey, hey,
All right.
hey, watch yourself. Bane is a tactical genius. That is one of his powers that people don't know about. But he is also a recovering drug victim because in Secret Six, he was going through that whole series without the Venom because he didn't want to be reliant on it anymore. He's a
Now,
strong character.
to be fair, he's been
All right.
developed really well since his debut because I
Yeah.
freaking love Secret Six. Secret Six is awesome. I just think at the time he was basically brought in just to break Batman's back. Like instead of like taking the route and developing a whole, kind of developing an organic way to make that storyline happen. It's just like we want to do this as quickly as possible.
Mhm.
Let's just invent somebody to do it. To be fair, Nightfall's a better story than I think Death of Superman, in my opinion.
Oh, that's because Death of Superman is just like, oh, he's dead, and then he used
Oh yeah,
Kryptonian
don't
hibernation to
get me
come
wrong.
back.
I'll be fair that Doomsday is leagues worse. At debut, Doomsday was leagues worse than like Bane.
Yeah,
Doomsday is just like a big rocky man thing.
I
So,
mean,
so
And
anyway,
yeah,
so this discussion was supposed to be Civil War,
yeah.
but that's just my perspective on the Marvel movies, and that's kind of what I end up comparing them all to. It may be unfair, but that's what I do.
No, I mean that's
So
valid.
with that frame in mind, that's where the majority of my discussion is going to be from. So go ahead and continue with how you guys felt about Civil War.
I mean, I will go ahead and say you're right. The big drama part, in my opinion, wasn't really until it was like spoilers. Anyone who hasn't seen Civil War, since it is still only like a week or two in, yeah, we'll do this when we're done. We'll try and remember. Anyway, yeah, there's about to be a spoiler right now, so if you're still
Mhm.
listening, you know,
It's coming.
yeah, we're
They're
not
they're
playing
going to.
chicken. I'm about to spoil something. When they reveal that Winter Soldier killed Iron Man's parents, or you killed my mom because his dad was kind of a dick.
Right.
Yeah, it was like that was kind of dramatic, but yeah, that was the
Mhm.
biggest point. And I guess it was kind of serious when Vision got like thrown into the Earth's core or whatever by Scarlet Witch because
Right.
it's kind of clear that they're going that kind of romance path with those two, and that probably hurt his feelings a lot. Uh,
well, there's also Rhodey getting jacked up.
Rhodey getting jacked up too. I felt bad at that point, but then Iron Man shot Falcon or Sam Wilson point blank with his repulsor, and I was like, okay, you kind of ruined that for me. I don't care anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
So
that
there's
good.
Go ahead. Yeah. So what I was gonna say was that there were all these little things that like always felt like they had these caveats next to them. So
Mm,
like, Iron Man figures out that Winter Soldier has killed his parents. Okay, but he's also aware that the man was brainwashed and didn't know anything that he was doing. He's essentially a different person now, and it's like, well, why aren't you taking that into account at all? I understand you're mad, but
true.
like, you just aren't thinking rationally here, and you're reacting very differently from what I would expect an intelligent, rational person to act. Um, Also, the whole ending thing with like Captain America sending Stark like this little note that's like, sorry but not sorry, we're gonna go be awesome, and like Stark just kind of being like, yeah, I kind of overreacted. Felt like the entire movie was pointless.
Well, that is the thing I always think about in like any kind of movie. It's just like if people were reasonable human beings in most situations in movies, it wouldn't be a movie because then everyone would be like, "Let's sit down and talk instead of punch each other in the face." Okay, I see your viewpoint. I don't agree, but we can work this out. But yeah, go ahead.
Now, okay. So now, to be fair, to let's speak about that Tony Stark point.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's acting irrational, and yeah, he's acting like it's like isn't acting like you'd expect an intelligent person to. But if you take a look at the events in the timeline of the movie,
Hmm.
this is a person who's been stretched well beyond the point of reason. I mean, we're given right at the very beginning, him and Pepper have basically broken up because of his obsession with being Iron Man.
Sure.
And then he's being blamed by this woman that, you're the reason my son's dead. This is all your fault. All of a sudden, then we have the stuff in Lagos happens. Like, all of a sudden, everybody's on the hook for all these innocent civilians being killed. And now he's desperately, in his opinion, trying to hold it all together.
Hmm.
And then, even though he's trying to hold it together, Captain America just can't let it go. And so
Sure.
now he feels he has to go and pick a fight he doesn't want to fight. And then of course that causes Rhodes to get paralyzed essentially. So it just kind of feels like had it been a different day, a different time, it probably would have gone a different way. I just think he was so far gone at that point.
I think that's a fair point, but like the whole different day, different time thing leaves that opening for the ending for him to realize that he reacted perhaps poorly, and that in the future, when he and Captain America team up inevitably to save the world again, inevitably, it won't really matter, which means that the entire movie didn't really matter.
The entire movie was just one giant therapy session. It was finally addressing all the frayed edges that were starting to appear through all of their time working together, and this needed to happen in order for them to take whatever the inevitable next step forward was.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
I mean, honestly, they could use these as like plot points for the next movie. I don't. I'm not super informed on Thanos just because I think no one really is because he's
Yeah.
kind of he's like a god tier super villain who's kind of D team, which is weird, but yeah, it's Thanos. But like I don't know, he could use this against them. Just like I don't know, because Scarlet Witch probably is super definitely not a fan of Iron Man right now because she was, although they were all in prison, she was like locked down in a straitjacket and junk. I know I really
Yeah.
wouldn't be happy with a person, and I was also just thinking like this is definitely what Ultron was supposed to do and didn't,
Yeah.
because he was kind of underwhelming also. Like I enjoyed him, but it was like he was supposed to rip the team apart and he really did not. And then, you know,
Well, and in theory, it kind of gives me an idea of where I think things are going to go in Infinity War. Because I have a feeling that it's probably going to happen is that Thanos is going to show up. It's probably initially only going to be Tony and the people that Tony can muster on his end trying to take on Thanos. They're going to find that they're incredibly lacking, and that's when they're going to have to call in like the other half, who are probably most likely going to become kind of like the secret Avengers at this point. When like Captain America spent some time like leading that kind of Black Ops Avengers.
mhm.
Favorite part of the film for me actually was probably I liked Ant-Man a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
It makes me really really mad because it makes me mad because did you know like in the current TV spots now they're showing him as Giant Man,
I'm
No,
and
not surprised.
that really annoys me because I'm like that's like one of the best reveals of the entire film, and now they're spoiling it.
You're right. You're right. Though I knew, of course, I'm aware that Ant Man is Giant Man, but I didn't
Right,
actually. I feel like I hadn't seen that before the movie, and I did not know that was going to happen, even though
right.
it made me really happy.
It was like just a wonderful surprise when it
Yeah.
happened.
It's like, oh, he can do that already? Hey. I'm in the camp that I I didn't necessarily hate what the Spider-Man they revealed was. I thought his voice was stupid, even though it was like, he is supposed to be like 15, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought this was like the best Spider-Man I've seen in the movies yet. Um, Yeah, it's,
No,
it's
I really like Spider-Man a lot too. And I like that they're going with the younger route. I may be wrong about this, but does it look like he has canisters on his
he does.
wrists?
Yeah.
He does. Okay, so that's a great touch going back to older Spider-Man versions,
Yeah.
iterations, I guess. One thing I didn't like about Spider-Man, I like again, I'm pleased with where it's going. But I thought he looked kind of CG animated like the entire time he was flying around.
I
It
think
didn't
he
seem.
was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, but I'm saying it wasn't very convincing, I guess. And I really did not like that his eyes were emoting.
what was your guys' take on Hot Aunt May?
I thought it was,
I'm fine with it.
yeah, I thought that was a good thing because honestly, like, Aunt May has been perpetually old in the comics forever. Like like when he was young, she was old. And he's like 30 and a CEO of a company now, and she's still old and alive and moving around pretty well. And it's like I'm happy that you all believe that old people should be able to do this, but there's a limit because old people get older and they don't just stay spry and young forever. She just got remarried, also. It's like she has to be like 80 something. She's in her twilight years. Just and I'm kind of happy about it. Just like she has time to age now. They didn't. Also, like if MCU goes for like a very long many of years, they could actually keep Marissa Tomei as you know. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I completely blanked her name already for
Aunt,
some reason.
Aunt May.
Aunt May, thank you. I don't know why I just did that, but they could keep her at it because it'll make sense because she'll get older slowly, and it'll be like, hey, she's actually Aunt May, and not just they keep changing the actresses.
I like Marissa Tomei a lot.
Yeah,
It's just certainly going to take a moment to get used to.
Yeah,
Okay.
go
All
ahead.
right. So finally, Team Cap or Team Stark?
That's not a question. Team Cap.
Yeah.
I mean, here's okay. So I actually had a really difficult time agreeing with Captain America in the beginning of the movie.
Uh
I agree that like Winter Soldier does not like Bucky does not deserve to be like murdered for like being brainwashed. But I don't know. I thought that there needed to be more of a discussion on the Accords thing, and he was kind of being a stick in the mud.
See, I kind of felt the other way because I think Chris kind of summarized this very nicely in the chat. Is that Tony's kind of trying to shove this down everybody's throat when Tony was responsible for a lot of the stuff that led to that. I mean, like all of the
Sure.
stuff that happened to Sokovia was purely Tony Stark's fault.
Right. No, that's true. I don't know. I feel that although I agree that Tony Stark may have selfish motives for going this route, the alternative is they basically become demonized.
True. But I don't know, as an avid comic reader, and this isn't just Marvel. It's just like whenever government is controlling a superhero team, it never turns out well. And also in my
Mhm.
mind, I'm like, yes, people die, but if they don't show up, more people die, and if they're
Sure.
slow, more people die. So it's like I would rather, if superheroes are real, I would rather them just be doing their thing. I mean, I prefer if they don't mess up, or not like mess up too badly. But when you have a maniacal evil robot flying around with his army of other maniacal evil robots, and they lifted up a section of land that's going to mess up the whole continent and Earth, it's like, yeah, there's going to be some bad stuff that happens because that's just expected. But
So
yeah,
okay, so here's kind of my final question on this. Did you guys feel that this was a Captain America movie or an Avengers movie?
I felt like it was an Avengers movie.
Yeah, I kind of really felt like I know they tried to say this is a Captain America movie. It was kind of an Avengers movie.
And that kind of leads me to my final thought on the movie. Again, like I said, I enjoyed it. I do think it's a really good movie. But I think that MCU is starting to get really bloated with all of their characters. And not that they can't expand with more characters and stuff like that. I think that Black Panther is going to be an awesome movie. I really like the introduction of that character, but they can't keep adding characters and introducing them into each movie because they're not going to have enough time to touch on every character and make sure they get developed in every movie.
I think part of me thinks it's also a little bit of a safety net, though, because by developing new characters, they're starting to pad out. They're starting to create like a backup for when inevitably, like some of these Phase 1 people, when the day that Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans just says, "Okay, I'm kind of done doing superhero films. I've been doing this forever."
Mhm.
The nice thing is by constantly generating new people, they hopefully have like a continuing roster to draw from.
So they don't have to be in every movie.
Yeah,
That's true.
They don't have to be in the Captain America movie. The
Right.
Captain America movie, realistically, could have had a few cameos and then been Iron Man and Captain America and Bucky, and that'd be it.
True, but I think they were like, of course they definitely couldn't get the actual comic event Civil War in because that's way too much. But with
Yeah.
as many characters as they had, they were like, I'm sure someone was like, it's not the same, but at least we have a solid team for both sides, and they can duke it
Right.
out and punch each other in the gut and such. And honestly, like we saw a very good. They used not having to use every character very well this movie because, as you mentioned, Chris Hemsworth, Thor was not in this at all, even though it's like he's established character in the universe and he's part of the Avengers. So at
But
one
they had
point,
to address it.
that's
That was the
yeah,
thing. They had
yeah.
to address it.
That's what I'm getting to. I mean, they used it well though. It was like Thor is literally a god. Where is he? Oh, Hulk too. Hulk is essentially a god. Where is he? So they kind of used it well. But I mean, yeah, I trust that they are until they mess up. I trust that they're going to be able to handle their stable well enough to
Right.
not overflow or underflow. Because for one, at least they're not Fox or whoever had Spider-Man, who's constantly shoving 5 different supervillains each movie and
True.
doing it badly. So yeah, I have high hopes that Marvel's got this because I mean they've been making comics for years. I know it's not the same medium; it doesn't have the same principles. Simply because comic, you have 37 issues, which could take someone like a month to read instead of an hour and a half. But I was really a fan of how they handled Spider-Man's backstory in this one. There was none. He was like, something bad happened. I had to deal with it, and that's how I became who I am. And I'm like, good. I'm okay with that. I don't need to see Uncle Ben get killed again.
Now, can I point out something that doesn't get a lot of credit? I actually really liked the bad guy in this film. Like, it's definitely not Zemo from the comics, but
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed this bad guy. Just had like, in the end, it seemed like he probably had some kind of world-changing plans, but I like the fact that it really boiled down to that he had the the most intimate of stakes. It was really just a very personal thing, and he didn't want to rule the world.
Yeah.
It was just he wanted to tear them apart. I really liked. I thought that was a really cool like kind of change from other superhero films.
Yeah, like when they came to the Winter Soldier place and the other Winter Soldiers were dead, I was like, oh, that's surprising and a big twist. I'm happy with that because Baron Zemo Comics would have tried to control them. This one's
Right.
just like, I just want you guys to be done. I'm also really happy that Black Panther, who I've never really liked as a character, simply because he's a B-lister who I don't really care for because I read too many comics as is. They made me care about him, which is like, okay, good job. I like this character now. I want to see more of him, and I'm happy that he's not just going to be like forever not friends with Winter Soldier because he's not an idiot and he understood what happened and was like, they had that moment with him and Zemo and was like, yeah, that's good. And
Yep.
last thing, CD. I know we've all said last thing at least once at this point.
Yeah.
No, you're the last one saying last thing, so this is the last thing.
CD Cobb made a point in the chat, just rewinding a minute or two back to our former point. Marvel recently said they'll no longer be catering to first-time viewers. They're assuming people have been keeping up with most of their movies, and that's how comic books work. So I am quite okay with that.
Yes, indeed.
It's a lot easier to catch up on. Okay, it's actually quite a few movies by now, but it's a lot easier to catch up on a series of movies than it is a whole backlog of comic books. So that's fine with me if that's how Marvel wants to run things. But anyway, let's go ahead because we have been on this topic for a good few minutes, and we are going to go to, yes, pat our heads, spoilers are over. Spoilers are over. We're going to go on to the
news from nowhere.
The news from nowhere. You heard it from Deckard
news
Cain himself,
from-
and I played it twice by accident. Anyway, first piece of news is From Software, the people who make Dark Souls, if you don't know somehow and you're watching this podcast, enters the VR ring. My news is going to be very old this week, so you're going to have to deal with it. Cellular services from Destructoid, but From Software's next game will be PlayStation VR compatible, which could be absolutely horrifying if you've seen their character designs as of now. Although it's slipped by most of us until several days ago, and this came out on the 3rd of this month, so it's been more than several days ago. From Software has uploaded a new video to its channel hinting at its next not Souls related project. As Miyazaki confirmed recently, is actively in development, and according to the clip, it will hit the PS4, PC, and Xbox One platforms. But it's important to note that for the former, the PS4, it will also support PlayStation VR. We already know that From is working on a new IP, but that doesn't mean the series can't be iterated on concurrently. Either way, given its strong resurgence thanks to Souls, we're probably interested in what it has up its sleeve. And that is a very good point. Let's mute this video and play it just so I know exactly what's happening. What do you guys think about that? Are you scared that From trying to get into VR will not necessarily ruin Dark Souls, because of course they're not working on another Dark Souls. But like I know everyone's hoping that they will eventually go back to it, even if it's like a year or two down the line. Does this make you worried at all? Would you want to play Dark Souls in VR?
I think the verdict's still out on third-person play in VR. I haven't really seen a good example of it. And so that element alone, I think, still needs to be proven. But I'm fine with it. I think From Software is a good developer. I think they're a smart developer. I think they know that whatever they're going to try to do is going to utilize, if they're actually going to be pursuing VR, it's going to utilize VR in an intelligent way. So I will hold off judgment until I see it.
Spell. Now, Adam, as a super Dark Souls fan, the fanboy of fanboys, as they say. No one says that, but I'm saying it now. What do you think?
I'm going to kind of echo Jordan, is that I have a lot of respect for FromSoft. I trust them to make a quality product. I can't really judge until I know exactly what they're making for VR, but at this point, I will be watching very intently.
Sure. Honestly, personally, I know I'm asking you this question in terms of Dark Souls. I'm kind of thinking, with their pedigree, they could just make a horror game. Or, oh my god, it just hit me. I completely forgotten. Armored Core in VR would be freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I would be so happy if they did that. And I'm talking good Armored Core, like back on the PS1, not the crappy ones that have been out recently. If they like got back to the roots and made good Armored Cores again and put that in VR, this would be the happiest mech pilot ever. But yeah. Quick fire. Do either of you have ideas on how VR could be implemented in Dark Souls?
I don't know. So I don't know if am I allowed to say this is what I'd like alternatively to a Dark Souls game?
Yeah, sure. Freeform. Go ahead.
Okay. I would like maybe. I think it'd be incredible. When you were talking about a horror game, I would like a game that is set in the universe of Bloodborne that's not necessarily a Souls game.
Okay.
Because a first-person game set in Yharnam would be awesome and terrifying, and yeah.
Now, would it be more of like an investigative title where you don't necessarily fight everything because they'll probably kill you, or do you want to see yourself maybe wielding, I don't know, a sword with like really good one-to-one combat mechanics, or a gun maybe?
Well,
I
know I'm speaking blasphemy, but
I'll piggyback off of Adam here,
okay,
and just kind of make my suggestion on what they could possibly do in that with that idea. I would like to see a game where you don't have any weapons, and it's something that you're an observer of the situation. I'm sure that you have your own personal plight, but that essentially you don't fight enemies. You probably hide from them. I'm not necessarily sure if it would be a horror game. Probably would be in Yharnam, my guess.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of really good games that are in the walking simulator field, and I think they could do something interesting with that.
Jordan wants to play as one of those villagers that's hiding behind the doors.
I really do. I really, really do.
The game ends when you jump out at someone and they kill you. It's like a 5-minute game.
Basically,
You hide
give me
behind
Fatal Frame in Yarnum.
you basically hide behind a door, and then eventually you go to Odium Chapel, and then you just stay there.
Yeah, I think it would be
Um,
interesting if they like based it around a character who randomly walked into Yarnum somehow and is trying to prevent themselves from becoming a beast, or maybe
Mhm.
even you play as I don't know. It could be like a very narrative-driven game where you play as. I'm of course very limited in my knowledge of Dark Souls because the only boss character I really know about is God, what's his name? First dude turns into a monster.
Oh,
Um,
God,
Father
Hunter.
Gascoigne.
Oh, Gascoigne. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It'd be interesting to play as him like right after he kills his wife and he's confused and lost and probably getting a little crazy. I don't know. That would probably not be like a full feature-length game, but it'd be interesting.
sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be kind of cool to do like some kind of prequel that's set during like the fall of the Healing Church.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot there's so much they could do with it.
yeah.
As far as VR elements in Blood and like I guess Bloodborne or Souls game in general, like when you have to go and find your souls after you died or something, it would be interesting to not necessarily see the location that they were dropped in, but to get like a glimpse in like through the eyes of the enemy that killed you,
That's cool.
and like have to find the enemy by what's in the surrounding area.
That's interesting. That is very interesting. But for the sake of time, we're gonna not keep giving from free ideas and move
Yeah.
on to Adam's first story.
Uh, Disney canceled Disney Infinity this week, and they're no longer self-publishing games. Disney announced it's canceling the Infinity line and is getting out of the business of self-publishing video games altogether. A charge of 147 million in connection with the discontinuation of Disney's console game business affected the company's earnings. Disney released a statement regarding the series' discontinuation, promising 2 more upcoming sets, including 3 new characters from Alice Through the Looking Glass, as well as a Finding Dory playset in June. Senior Vice President and General Manager John Blackburn said that he wanted to quote unquote take a moment to think, or to take a moment to thank fans of the Infinity line, not just for your support of the years, but for creating a community around Disney's Toys to Life franchise. We hope you had as much fun playing the games as we had making it, Blackburn wrote. Earlier, Disney announced it would be at E3 this June. At the beginning of March, it laid out its long-term plans for Infinity franchise, announcing there would be no Disney Infinity 4.0 this year. Disney Infinity was the most popular Toys to Life brand coming into 2016, beating out Skylander and Lego's Dimensions thanks to the popularity of Star Wars. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that, really, because it seems like Disney Infinity seemed to get a lot of positive attention. People seem to really like it, and it seems kind of like it's just like a license to print money for them because every time they release new property, which is always, they could just release new sets. So I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
I think they just don't have to do it in house anymore. I think they can pretty much do their any development with a different developer. You're seeing a lot of Star Wars games getting made by a few different developers, and they can just license out their properties that way. I
um,
don't think this was a necessity for them to keep it open.
yeah.
Sure.
Anyone who's like worried about this meaning no more Star Wars games or something like that, yeah, as you said, they definitely don't have to worry about that. There are 3 Star Wars games in the
Yeah.
pipeline: Battlefield 2, and then 2 other Star Wars
Battlefront.
titles. Battlefront, sorry, not Battlefield. They're already making the prequel or sequel to Battlefield 1, Battlefield 2. That's how are they going to do that naming convention? That's awful. Um, but yeah, so there's no worries about them not making games anymore with their with the stuff they own because that would be horrifying because they own Marvel and Star Wars right now. So um, it's a shame though. I mean, as I say every time something like this happens, it sucks for those people that lost their jobs all of a sudden. But I'm sure I know for a fact that even my Twitter feed was like blowing up with people being like, "Hey, you work for Disney?" Or yeah, you work for Disney? Go ahead. We're hiring. Come over here. Come talk to us. So as per usual, video game companies are always looking out for each other, even
Mm.
as competitors. So that's good. And yeah,
Cool.
so time
Speaking of
is falling. We need to move.
Battlefield Battlefields and Battlefronts. We've got the Battlefield 1 reveal. This is slightly old news again, but this comes from Jesse Webster on middleofnowheregaming.com. After spending the entire day reminiscing on the Battlefield franchise days, and EA finally announced the game in the franchise, Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 will be set during World War I, and it will feature chemical warfare, tanks, biplanes, horses, and all the things that fit the WWI timeline. The new trailer shows off what to expect in the new game in the series. The story that we know so far will set with several soldiers during the entire conflict and will span to France, the Alps, and even Arabia. You can go ahead and check out that reveal trailer on YouTube, or you can go to middleofnowheregaming.com to see it there. Just so you know, there's also an exclusive collector's edition for anybody who's interested in that. It's going to include Battlefield 1 Deluxe Edition, 14-inch tall statue of a guy shooting a gun and holding a grenade, exclusive steelbook, exclusive cloth poster, deck of playing cards, messenger pigeon tube with exclusive DLC content, exclusive patch, and an exclusive packaging. And that will cost you $219.99, exclusive to Amazon.
Even if I were excited for this game, which I'm on the fence about, I would not pay that much for that. Um,
Well, you know, that's EA nickel and diming you for a Battlefield game.
that's more than nickel and dime, good sir. That is way more than nickel and dime. This is interesting. Battlefield 1 is a very interesting concept, mainly because we've been going to the future for so many years. And now we're going back to the past. And I thought this was going to be an alternate history game, but apparently it is most definitely not. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes out. And of course, one of your characters is going to die by mustard gas. Spoilers, not spoilers. If you don't expect that, you're not playing games and knowing how people write devastating moments where you die. You're gonna die by mustard gas at least once. But yeah, or flamethrower actually, because those things are kind of awful. We were learning about that back in school, and I pretty much figured out, oh, it sucks to be the dude with the flamethrower and the dude standing next to the guy with the flamethrower, because if they get shot, those things go boom.
So I far prefer Battlefield games to Call of Duty games. If there's going to be a choice between the two of them, I don't really buy either of them all that regularly. But I did play Battlefield 4, and although it was broken as hell, I did have a lot of fun with it. I like the big, expansive battlefields, and a lot of the vehicles and stuff. So I think that's going to fit really well in this game. I think World War I is a really gutsy move. There's a lot of elements that are going to limit players. You can't have 20 bullets in a clip. Like, you can't have anything, really. So there's going to be a lot of bayonets and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle all the hand-to-hand combat, the trench warfare, a lot of the intricacies of World War I.
Yeah. Any thoughts on this, Adam?
Cool setting. Probably not going to play it.
That's valid. Personally, I think it's going to be a shock to everyone when they see, oh god, they rode horses in World War One. Because surprise, they had a lot of horses in World War One. I took American War history class, so yeah, I'm an expert. But yeah, it'll be interesting. That's a good point you made though, like not being able to have 20 bullets in a clip or a magazine. I really want to see how they're going to handle that. If they're just like, well, it's not altered history, but we're gonna fudge things a little, or if they're just gonna be like, it's you get 3 bullets in one magazine and you're gonna be happy with it. So yeah. Hey, rolling back to me, I think, yeah. Rolling back to me, my second story is Mass Effect got delayed. Again, news from literally last week, because I was not impressed by this 2 weeks of news. Mass Effect Andromeda moves to 2017. An update is coming at E3. This is not my favorite news on the Citadel. Haha, I get what that author was saying on Game Informer. Mass Effect Andromeda has been moved to 2017. The move was rumored, but is now official. The good news is that we'll be getting some more information in about 5 weeks. I think that's, 4 or 3 weeks now. Mass Effect Andromeda will be at E3 as part of the EA Play event. And I quote, As we've been playing the game at the studio recently, it's showing us that we're taking the game in the right direction, writes BioWare General Manager Aaron Flynn. But we also know that we need the right amount of time to make sure we deliver everything the game can be and should be. That's our commitment from all of us to all of you. Because of that, Mass Effect Andromeda will now ship in the early 2017. I messed up, but I'm going to go ahead and own it. We can't wait to show you how far we're all going to go. We'll see you at the EA Play press conference on June 12th with an update. We'll find out more about the journey to the Milky Way, etc., etc. Fluff piece, fluff words. Anyway, yeah, I'm okay with this. I love Mass Effect, and I really need this game in my life. But if they're going to delay it to make it better, well, that's just fine.
Make it good, BioWare. I'll be patiently waiting.
Don't fuck it up.
If I get another Star Child, I'm coming to visit you, Aaron Flynn. I hated that dude. That was the worst. So yeah, I can't wait to hear more, of course, because I feel like
Right.
we haven't heard. Like, we keep hearing rumors, and we keep hearing stuff that's, like, not really confirmed. I can't
Right.
wait. I hope to God that this is, like, they're actually going to be like, hey, we have some gameplay. This is a gameplay demo, and we're going to actually tell you what's going on. And I will be really happy, because that's what always makes me happy during E3. Either good trailers that I'm like, oh my God, Phantom Dust isn't dead, even though it's kind of dead again. My heart. And, stuff like that. So, yeah.
Well, it's my speculation that I think EA's got to have something big up their sleeve this year, because if you notice, they've got a conference on Saturday now, so they're put them, or not Saturday, Sunday, like they're doing a conference Sunday alongside like the only other one doing it on Sunday is Bethesda, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to put themselves out in front like that makes me think that they got something they want to grab everybody's attention with, especially because they're doing it on a day where people aren't at work, so they're wanting people to watch that.
True. Hey, I'm going to be watching EA. I'll be watching
me
closely.
too. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, what else are you doing, Adam?
In news that maybe only Adam's excited about, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney 6 is coming in September. Capcom has announced that the next installment in the Ace Attorney franchise will be called Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. It will be making its way to the Nintendo eShop in North America and Europe in September for $30. Spirit of Justice will see Phoenix Wright visiting the Kingdom of Quarren, where he quickly discovers courts work slightly differently to how he's used verdicts. How he's used to. Verdicts are decided through seance trials and visions conjured by royal priestesses. At the same time, Apollo Justice is on top of a case with massive implications back at the Write Anything agency. Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for this. I like the Phoenix Wright games.
This seems like he's going to do well here, since they take psychic things and seances into account. Because I mean, that's kind of how he works. So.
I like Phoenix Wright's goofy brand of justice. Yeah, so I'll definitely probably be buying that right when it comes out.
I know Amanda Rainier, who writes for the website, is a major fan of these games.
Yeah.
I've never played them myself, although I'm very interested in them, but I don't have anything that I can download them with. So.
I kind of started, because I admittedly started playing them after I got into Danganronpa, simply because the class trials are a lot like, bear more than a passing resemblance to Phoenix Wright.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
If anyone's looking, like, personally, I'm the kind of person who I tried playing it, wasn't really my thing, because like I hate the investigation part because I'm not good at. They're like, hey, that shoe means something. I'm like, does it? And I'm like, does this shoe mean something? You're saying words, and in the case, I would literally just pull out things. I'm like, just imagining me in the actual court. I found this half-eaten sandwich. And they're just like, yes, you found a half-eaten sandwich. Do you want the rest of it? And I'm like, no.
I'm going to save it for later.
So yeah, that's essentially how I play the game. But
Miles Farrington, Ace Attorney.
Yes, Ace Attorney doesn't win any of the cases. He's an ace if you're on the other side. But yeah, if anyone wants to watch this, because I do enjoy watching it, because there's a Cryotic, if anyone knows who that is, YouTube streamer, well, Twitch streamer and YouTube personality. He and his friends do like voiced readings of Phoenix Wright essentially, and it's usually hilarious because they are either really stupid with the voices, really good at the voices, or it's just funny because Phoenix Wright is funny. So I would actually suggest that to anyone. Just Google it, you'll find it. But yeah, we should move on again because thing.
We have news from Hideo Kojima, who is trying desperately to remain in the news cycle. New Kojima Productions logo is hiding a secret, says GameSpot author Eddie McCooch. I don't know. It might be McCooch. We'll see. The logo for Hideo Kojima's new Kojima Productions development studio, which is awesome, contains a secret. The game designer and industry veteran has revealed. He told Famitsu that the skull and helmet we see in the logo is actually just one part of it. There's a full body to be revealed later. I can't really say Kojima told the magazine as translated by Kotaku, which leads us to wonder why he's saying it at all. But this logo has a secret. It has a full body, a really cool full body. We're planning on putting out a figure version of it. In the interview, Kojima said a second time that the full body will, quote, look very cool. He even suggested someone take it further. Quote, could someone make like an anime or something with this character? He joked.
Falling apart, Jordan. You can't even finish this.
Kojima officially left Konami, blah, 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 old news. And he said recently aims to appeal to fans of Uncharted and The Division, is going to be the PC and PlayStation 4 game that he's developing. When it is announced, you might think that's not outstanding, but you'll understand when you see it and play it. The genre is I love this man, but holy shit, this is bad.
Yeah.
Holy product placement, Kojima. I really like the logo. I want a shirt or something that has it on it because it looks really cool.
I do too.
But yeah, this is kind of silly. Let's be honest. Hey, this is gonna be cool. It's gonna be so cool, very cool. I'm gonna find all the adjectives to say how cool it's gonna be. Hey, somebody want to make an anime out of it?
Now, my
like
game's
Trump
going to look
running
really
president.
boring, but it's secretly really cool, guys. I swearsies.
I have all the ideas. I have all the bottom halves of the face that you're seeing as our logo. It's there. You will see it someday, but we can't talk about it right now. I don't know why I'm bringing it up.
I really want. I know 4chan has probably gotten their hands on this article and just like given it a stupid body like Stickman or freaking the little frog guy, whatever that's. I actually don't remember that. Pepe. There we go. The frog body. I just imagine them just like someone just goes up there, just like, hey, he said there's a body to this. Draw what you think the body is, and there's probably a lot of stupid stuff in there.
You know what? I think right now we're gonna say if anybody is listening, if you've got a body that you want to add to the Hideo Kojima, the Kojima Productions logo, we'll get you something nice.
Yep.
We will get you something nice. If you want to send something into contact.mong@gmail.com, we will be nice to you.
Okay, yeah, we'll be nice to you. There you go. Make it appropriate. I get, but yeah, make it appropriate. Don't just find nudes and put them on there.
Yeah, that. But I want to see something creative.
Yeah. So actually try. It'd be really nice if we had like a legit like super artist in here who actually drew it and gave it like a body that looked awesome.
I'm being totally serious. We'll definitely get you something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. Totes.
Remember, he's our master of treasury, so if he says it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Anyway.
I have money to spend. All right.
Yeah, that was a good silly story to end off on. He said it's gonna be very cool. Anyway, our thought from nowhere for the week. Wiz. Our thought from nowhere, Wiz. Which superhero would you most like to see star in a video game? Example, Green Arrow, because it could work in the Arkham game engine and really should have been done by now. Angry Face. And that came from, of course, the man in chat, our mod, CD Cobb, Chris Cobb, writer for the website, prolific man of the hour,
Star Long,
Globetrotter, and volcano climber, Chris Cobb. There you go.
model.
Yeah, Mong's next top superhero. So now you know why 122 is titled that way. Anyway, there's a lot of options here, and I'm gonna go ahead and toss it off to Adam or whoever wants to go first, since I always do that because I never think early.
Okay. Well, actually, it's kind of hard because when I got this question, I had to look into the context of what is the game we're making here.
Uh-huh.
And so it's probably for me not so much picking out a new superhero who's never had a game, but more taking a superhero and kind of picking, like, if I could pick a dream project or like a dream game. So I'll fire off one that's just real short, and then I'll give you like a longer pitch one. First of all, I would generally like to see a BioWare Avengers game.
I can see that.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
Like, so you're thinking like a deep RPG.
Yep, deep RPG, squad combat.
Cool.
Maybe with a focus on Captain America as kind of a shepherdish type.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about like, I don't know why I was thinking about an ARG because that was the other Marvel game that came out already. But yeah, that's good. I like that.
Here's my other idea. And this is the one that the more I'm starting to think about this, the more I think it would be kind of awesome. I want a new Deadpool game, not the mediocre one they made a couple years ago, but I want a Souls-like Deadpool game that's a send-up satire of like the Souls genre. It's perfect because he just keeps on coming back to life over and over again, and he would essentially work as like the voice of the player. And so, like, when you like enter like some kind of arena, you'd be like, fog gate, big arena, nothing's bad is gonna happen here, no. And then all of a sudden, when like some large monstrosity comes out of the grave, he's like, you got to be fucking kidding me, and just have him like sitting there, just kind of like rattling off the entire time. I think a Deadpool Souls game would be amazing.
That would be hilarious.
I like that.
They already have the name for it, Dead Souls.
Yeah.
Right?
That's amazing. Yeah, my idea, both my ideas were fairly half baked, but one of them is a Black Widow stealth game.
Okay.
I think that there's a lot of room for growth for Black Widow in the video game genre, and so that would be really cool. And the other idea that I thought of was a Scarlet Witch, like kind of an open world game, like a destructible environment sort of thing.
I like how you're being progressive and choosing female heroes.
I like female superheroes; are the best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Those are two good picks. Well, I'm gonna just pick my favorite superhero because he's my favorite superhero. Invincible. If anyone's read that. Yeah, I would
I'm
really
not
like.
familiar with that one.
Okay. It's like 132 issues in, so there's a lot to go over.
Well, give me something.
So essentially, he's an alien from a race that was, spoilers if you haven't read Invincibles, alien from a race that is slowly dying off from a disease, essentially, and they had sent out people to infiltrate and kind of smooth their way into societies of certain planets. One, to see if they could breed with the people there, and two, if they found out they could, they would then take over the planet and make them a breeding colony so that they could replenish. They are like a really powerful species, really warrior type race. Highly advanced, but they are warriors, and very kind of the weak don't deserve to survive kind of folks. Usually when someone asks me to describe them, I'm like, okay, think of a Kryptonian, but instead of all the stupid powers like laser eyes and cold breath, just they took the points that you would have put into that and put it into like strength, resilience, and flight, pretty much.
Okay.
So they don't have super hearing, they don't have X-ray vision, but they are extremely strong. Like 3 of them can fly through the core of a planet and destroy it. That kind of stuff.
Cool.
So yeah, I would really like to see that happen. And I was really happy because apparently that is a thing that they're thinking about doing. So I was like, oh, Invincible game, yes. And a narrative-driven, irredeemable / incorruptible game could be interesting. Could be. Again, 2 comics that probably most people have not read or heard of. But they're like really... It's about the fallout of the world after essentially a god-tier superhero decides that he does not want to help people anymore and is actively hurting people at that point. His first action is he goes and sinks Singapore by flying into it. So that's it's just like, I know that sounds silly, but it's very character driven. The characters, his old friends who are like, oh, how do we stop this guy? Because he's kind of the best of us. And then the other turn on the irredeemable storyline is the incorruptible storyline is the only guy who could like match him physically in and it's what he does and what he's doing because he's like, oh, the world's kind of messed up. I was like a petty thief, and well, not petty, but he stole things. He's like, he was out for himself, and he's like, oh, I should probably actually do something to help the world because this is kind of going downside. So yeah, I think both those stories would be interesting to play in like a excuse me, what's that company called? Telltale type game, walking
Sure.
simulator or whatever. So yeah, that'd be good. Those are my
I think
thoughts.
we can. I think we can all agree that just a remake of Spider-Man 2 would be enough.
Yeah. Thought you were gonna say Superman. I was about to kick you out of here.
Spider-Man.
Well, I think hopefully that Sucker Punch Spider-Man rumors were true, because that would be amazing.
That'd be awesome.
I think that would be solid. But yeah, let's go to chat, see what they got to say. I'm cheating a bit, but Suicide Squad team-based, perhaps built on Arkham Engine, mix of characters, 4-player co-op, every character has a unique feel, Harley with acrobatics, Deathstroke with blades, Suicide Squad. Okay, I'm thinking about Secret Six. Deathstroke with blades, Deadshot with guns, Bronze Tiger is very jumpy and stabby, and let's throw in multiplayer too. That is a great idea. Multiplayer games are my bread and butter. Otherwise, also still CD Cobb. Otherwise, give me a time-hopping Cable third-person shooter with lots of X-Men cameos and Deadpool as an AI sidekick playable from time to time. I can dig it. I would also like X-Force if we're talking about teams, because X-Force with like, what was it, Uncle Custer? I can't remember. Phantoma, Psylocke, Archangel, Deadpool, that team, Wolverine. That's the one I read. That's the one I really liked. So yeah, I guess last question, quick fire. Adam, you already kind of answered this, but if you want to give another answer, that's fine. What team would you like to see made into a game? Superhero team.
I don't know what you would do with it, but I'm just gonna pick my favorite. I want a Watchmen game.
They made one of those, and it wasn't
Not
good.
that one. That one's not really a team game. That's just like Night Owl and
Okay.
Rorschach.
Yeah, I can see that. That'd be interesting. I'd like to play as Rorschach or
Yeah.
I like to play as Rorschach. That's pretty much it. I would say I want to play as Dr. Manhattan, but then you're just God, and it's not really fun anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on that bandwagon. That's awesome. That's a really good suggestion.
Yeah. I accept those.
Or maybe a comedian first-person shooter Vietnam game.
That would be depressing.
That would be depressing, but it would be like one of those kind of like, they would have moments that are like really hardcore in there, not just because it's Vietnam.
Line moments.
Yeah, not just that, but also because we know he raped someone in Vietnam, didn't he?
I don't.
No, but I think he
Okay.
totally kind of had that affair with that Vietnamese lady, though, and then she cuts his face and he shoots her in the head.
Yeah, I was gonna say he kills her.
Yeah, I want to play out that moment, but no, not to detract it. Yes, Watchmen would be good. Secret Six could be fun because Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm a fan of That's probably why I liked X-Force. I'm a fan of like not B team, but like the heroes or villains that aren't really well known and they work well together, but they are still like the trash guys essentially. So that'd be interesting. Lord Jesus Crust came in with a question. What happened to the team that made the Transformers third-person shooters? I'll pick them for that Cable game. That's all.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's a solid choice.
Yeah, they handled that series really well. Watchmen would probably be really good as a for Telltale style game. I can see that. Yeah.
How about a Great Lakes Avengers team game?
Yeah, Squirrel Girl. I'll play Squirrel Girl all day.
That would be actually kind of awesome.
Yeah. I don't care what anybody says. She's the best.
Is Lord Jesus Christ talking about Platinum games?
Did Platinum make Deadpool?
No,
I thought
Transformers.
No. He's talking about the.
High Moon.
I think he's talking about War for Cybertron. I think.
He's talking about there was like two of them that were like a kind of almost like a third person cover based shooter.
Yeah. Okay. They were really good too. I was really surprised and really enjoyed those. So yeah, Lord Jesus Christ, are you talking about the most recent one, Devastation, or are you talking about War for Cybertron and whatever the other one was called that I don't remember?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up. So This has been fun. This has been a good
Indeed.
podcast. Anyway, the wrap-up closing segment. As per usual, we record on. I need to change the doc. Hey, Fall of Cybertron. That's the other one. Yeah, High Moon did those two. So yeah, he's either talking about High Moon Studios or Platinum Games. So yeah. Excuse me, I was burping. We record on Sunday nights or Sunday. Yeah, he was talking about War for Cybertron. All right, get this done. We record on Sundays, and usually it goes up an hour or two after we record. So we start recording around 3:30 my time, and then we stop recording around 4:30 or 4:50 if we ran a little late and then had a lot to say about Captain America Civil War. So yeah, we had a pretty quick turnaround. You can email us on contact@mong@gmail.com. For example, if you're emailing us a picture of your rendition of the Kojima logo, which could actually just be the logo on Kojima's body. That would be funny. But anyway, if you want to email those to us, not that you'll get something for that. I'm not going to say that. You can email us those at contact.mong@gmail.com, as well as any questions you have or any inquiries of any other type, I guess. You can also find our Mong Twitter account at mong.com. Dot is spelled out. You can find us on YouTube at Mong Network, which is where all the podcasts go up. So that's this podcast. That's Friendly Neighborhood Fanboys. That's, I think that's it for right now, right? Yeah,
What we're gonna do for now. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, if you want to watch those two podcasts, that's where you find them. Middle of Nowhere Gaming Plays is where the Let's Plays go up. So that includes PlayStation plus you and me. Yes, and any other Let's Plays and stuff. And our reviews, if we have video reviews, go up on Mong Network.
Those go up on Yep.
Mong Network. Twitch channel, which is where you should be when we're recording live, or if we're podcasting, or if they're doing PlayStation plus you and me, is Mong Plays. That's where you're at right now. It's down there. I put it in the thing so you can see it whenever you're watching. You can also find us on Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram. Look up Mong or Middle Nowhere Gaming. I'm sure either one of those will lead you to us eventually. You can check our website, which is, of course, middleofnowheregaming.com. That is where everything goes up. That's where our editorials, our news, our reviews, and where you can find the podcasts and everything else, because they get posted up there as stories as well. So if you want to keep up with everything we're doing, follow that, or get on the website, or follow us on Twitter. Also, if you want to be awesome and help us keep the lights on, because keeping the website up is not free, go to Patreon. Look for us, Middle Nowhere Gaming. That's where you can find us. We would love any support you can give us, and if not, we just appreciate you listening and watching and keeping up with us and talking and stuff. We appreciate you as people and human beings. And beyond that, you can find me on Twitter at Furious Milk. Adam can be found at
Fanboy_Adam.
And Jordan can be found at
JL_Fleur.
I feel like this part is kind of redundant and almost not necessary anymore. Oh yeah, we still have audio listeners. I completely forgot about that. Never mind. But yeah, if you're watching the video, of course, our Twitter names are right there in the overlay, so you can see I'm Furious Milk, and we all have them. So yeah, if you need to figure out how to spell those, go to the YouTube channel and watch about 2 seconds of the video, because it's on there, the whole video. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Everyone, it's been fun. I hope everyone has a wonderful week, whether you're working, in school, or doing whatever else. Hopefully not stuck in a canyon having to cut your own arm off. A reference to 127 hours or whatever that movie was called. Anyway, 72 hours. There we go. You all have a wonderful time. Mong.
Mong.
There we go. We're done.